12 Amazing Facts about the Esoteric Door. The concept of door has always been charged with deep and articulated symbolic and spiritual values, often common to cultures that are very distant from each other, in time and space. The door represents the place of passage between two states, two worlds, the known and the unknown, light and darkness, wealth and misery. The door opens onto a mystery. Going through the door, from an initiatory point of view, alludes to spiritual evolution, to access to a higher degree of knowledge, to the achievement of truth. It is an invitation to travel to an afterlife. 1. Charm and mystery surround the door. Just think of the legendary opening of the cave in the tale of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. The legendary phrase "Open Sesame" allowed access to a great treasure, which was also the downfall of Ali's brother. The door of Dante's hell that recites the famous, "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here." The door therefore represents a border. The act of crossing the threshold symbolizes entering a space other than the one from which one comes, perhaps unknown, mysterious or even sacred, depending on the place and time in which the door in question is located. 2. In the British Isles it is customary to open all the doors of the house in which someone is dying, in order to help the soul of the dying person to leave this world. 3. In some regions of Indonesia, they open the doors of the house where a woman is giving birth, as they believe that she helps deliver the baby. 4. In ancient Egypt, the doors symbolize the horizon, the luminous mountain of the east where the sun rises, that fascinating moment of dawn in which both worlds meet. 5. In the tombs, a door was built so that the soul of the deceased could move both in one direction and in the other. This same sense, the door is present in Etruscan tombs. Some have the deceased represented on the threshold. 6. In medieval iconography, the Virgin was often depicted in the shape of a closed door. A hymn from the 12th century describes it thus: "Holy Mary, closed door, by order of God open, sealed fountain, closed garden, door of paradise." 7. The guardians of the Romanesque doors refer to the initiation that the neophyte will make, once they pass through the portal of the temple. Such is the case of the Latin god Janus, who keeps the keys to the two solstice gates, the gate of the gods and the gate of men. Romans paid special importance to the gates, to the point that the very concept of the gate becomes a divinity in the figure of Janus, the oldest indigenous god. An exclusively Roman deity, Janus is the oldest indigenous god of doors, transitions, passages, beginnings, and protected the first month of the year, January. He had one face, he looked at the past, and with the other the future. It had the task of exorcising a period of the year in which old and new interpenetrated. Giano protected the doors of the houses and the passages in general. It was represented two-faced, that is, with two faces, one in front and one behind, to control entry and exit. 8. The door of the rites of the Masons is very low so that the layman has to stoop to be able to enter the interior of the temple. It is not an act of humility, but denotes the difficulty between the profane plane and the initiatory plane. It is the famous Puerta de Occidente, the direction by which the sun goes out, the light disappears and everything is in darkness. It is a secret world and unknown to the rest of the mortals. 9. In Chinese cities there was a door at each cardinal point. According to Feng Shui, such doors expelled bad influences, welcomed good influences, welcomed guests, and looked towards each imperial region. Also in Cambodia, the four gates of Angkor represent the access to the four directions of that eastern axis mundi. 10. The symbolic and magical power of the door has reached the fantastic literature of today. Durin's door of the Lord of the Rings, representing friendship, friends, in Elven, is the word to unlock it. The same door hides great dangers for the company. The hidden portal to the fantastic world of Alice in Wonderland enters Wonderland through a door in the rabbit hole. In the Chronicles of Narnia, the young protagonists enter the fantastic world of Narnia through the door of an old wardrobe full of furs. The door becomes the passage to another dimension, much more magical and fascinating than the boring everyday reality from which the characters come. 11. The Bible speaks of the gates of heaven through which one enters the kingdom of heaven, salvation and eternal life. I am the door, if anyone enters through me, he will be saved, John 10:9, which alludes to that spiritual state in which Jesus initiated his followers. In the Vatican, doors and keys appear as emblematic symbols and the Pope performs rituals related to opening certain doors. 12. Everyday life. Even in everyday life, however, there are thresholds to cross, which lead us from one phase of life to another, often through specific rites of passage. Think for example of the passage from childhood to maturity, formerly marked by the overcoming of tests of initiation, or to religious rites, such as baptism, which originally was the moment when the neophyte finally had the opportunity to enter the church for the first time. The wedding, particularly at the moment when the bridegroom crosses the threshold at home with his wife in his arms. This custom has its roots even in ancient Rome. This gesture should have evoked the mythical rape of the Sabine women, but, above all, it would have had the important superstitious function of preventing the woman, stumbling, from throwing a bad omen on the married life that has just begun.